what's happening? My name is Daniel and welcome to Message Today, Series 3, Episode 7. This week we have special guest Soulbox, music from my band Brightline, and Joe will be sharing his story.
Hi, I'm Emma. Let's get straight into today's episode. In 2020, the Youth Index conducted by YouGov surveyed over 2,016 to 25-year-olds and claimed that more than half of them always or often felt anxious. It also found out that 68% felt like they were missing out on being young, 62% felt like they'd lost an entire year of their lives, and 38% said that they were dreading 2021. It's no surprise that research by the Prince's Trust claimed that 1 in 4 young people have felt unable to cope with life since the start of the COVID-19 outbreak.
So after hearing that, there's no surprise that we've decided to look at the topic of depression. If you already relate to this topic personally and you're watching this at home due to lockdown, the last thing we want to do is trigger anything. So can we suggest that you get a parent or guardian to watch this with you? If you find yourself struggling with anything we talk about or have any questions, please do think of an adult you trust that you can talk to ASAP. This might be a parent or guardian, a youth leader or a member of staff at your school.
Let's start this episode by watching Man Down by Ben Hayden from Soulbox.
Yeah, I've been fighting hard just to be myself. Looking in the mirror every day, seeing someone else, someone help. Looking deep inside like there's no way out. Oh my God, would you help me now? I've been deep in hello. I've been on an all-time low, sinking deep in all I know is you said you'd never go. No, you said you'd never leave. I believe, but I'm lost up in the water. It's trying to tell me who to be. I've been upside down, really trying to shut life out. Walking on this tightrope, walking on this tightrope. Don't know how to love myself while I'm screaming help, man down. Walking on this tightrope, walking on this tightrope. So man down, man down, man down, man down. I've been digging deep, 6 feet down, staring at the feet, always standing his ground. Eyes are down with my hoodie over my head. I've been shook, I've been looking dead. I've been coping without my meds. I've been so tired of being someone I'm not. This knot inside of my stomach has got me losing the plot. I've been praying daily, but I don't do it enough. No, I've been searching for love, but nothing's ever enough. I've been upside down, really trying to shut life out. Walking on this tightrope, walking on this tightrope. Don't know how to love myself while I'm screaming help, man down. Walking on this tightrope, walking on this tightrope. So man down, man down, man down, man down.
So, what is depression? Let's see what our students around the UK had to say.
Well, depression, I guess, is maybe just being unhappy about something, but to the extreme. So being depressed maybe on your appearance or how other people see you, or just in general, just being sad about literally everything.
If we're talking about clinical depression, then that would be a mental health issue where someone would feel extremely low, might not be able to get out of bed in the morning, regardless of kind of their external life situation, this kind of constant low feeling.
Well, I've learned this in psychology actually. Depression is a mental state where you just constantly think negative thoughts. and it's difficult for you to think positive thoughts, and it just gets you. That's what gets you depressed.
Well, it comes in like all different forms. It's just that constant feeling of dread. It's like having a black cloud hang over you. It's that constant feeling of dread and just not being able to function with your normal life because of like being sad or just generally unhappy.
Depression is when you're not happy, but like really not happy and like need help. Like to a point where you feel like you can't function, not happy.
Having like a negative outlook on life, even when you could be surrounded by people that love and care for you and support you, it's probably, I think it's like a mentality that you might not be good enough.
A state of the mind where you feel just sad, just constantly. You don't want to do anything, you don't feel good about life, you know, you don't feel good about the future, about yourself. It's just an awful spiral to go down.
Nice one, guys. Up next to share their thoughts on today's topic from the Message Trust, it's Sammy, John, and Ben from Soulbox.
Yes, everybody, what is going on? We are Soulbox. My name is Sammy. Over here we got Ben, and right here we got John.
Normally, we'd be going all around the UK, doing festivals, doing gigs, and we do schools as well.
But you know what? We thought we would join you guys on this video. And John, why don't you kick us off with the definition of today's topic?
The Mayo Clinic defines depression as a mood disorder that causes a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest. It's also known as a major depressive disorder or clinical depression. It basically affects how you feel, think, and behave, and can lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems.
Depression has always been something I've battled with. I've been on and off meds throughout my 20s, and in 2017, I was told by the doctor I had moderate depression. I read something recently that said 1 in 4 people struggle with their mental health, but 60% of people won't seek help. For me, it can be easy to let my depression control my mind and my life. And so it's really important to have healthy routines in place. I try to eat healthy, stay active, and maintain good friendships. But also, I believe my connection with God helps me through it too. The Bible says in Matthew 11:28, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Sometimes when I get caught up in the madness of my life, I just need to remember to trust God. And remember, everybody watching, you can live life to the fullest as well. And also, go follow us at Soulbox Band on YouTube and Instagram. God bless.
The NHS tell us that we all go through difficult times, and it can be a healthy reaction to feel negative emotions when facing challenges. Being aware of how challenges in life can affect our mental health may make it easier to understand when we or someone we care about are struggling.
Those challenges that we may face throughout our lives often include personal life and relationships, money, work and housing, life changes, including living through the coronavirus outbreak, health issues, traumatic life events, smoking, alcohol, gambling, and drug misuse.
Daniel and I are no experts on this topic, so let's watch this video created by Free Med Education to see the difference between going through a difficult time and what depression actually is.
Introduction. Humans respond to stress, loss, and adversity in a variety of ways. Many of us have experienced low mood and spirits when faced with a difficulty or a loss. We may lose our sleep, appetite, and may not feel like socializing or meeting people. This change in behavior is a normal human reaction to a stressful situation. As such, a state is transient and goes away in a couple of days. But if symptoms such as low mood, hopelessness, changes in appetite, sleep patterns, loss of interest in hobbies, anhedonia, feelings of guilt persist for more than 2 weeks, and negatively affect our social, domestic, and occupational functioning, then it is no more a normal reaction, but a pathological one, and may merit a concern for clinical depression. Major depression is extremely common among various societies, and despite being a treatable illness, goes largely undiagnosed due to its insidious nature and the stigma attached to its diagnosis and seeking treatment. Case for urgency. According to the International Global Burden of Disease Study, major depressive disorder, MDD, is the third leading cause of the years lived with disability, YLDs, which can be described as years lived in less than ideal health in Pakistan and globally. The socioeconomic burden of mental illness in Pakistan is tremendous, of which MDD contributes significantly and was estimated to be approximately $4,264 million in the year 2006, according to recent estimates carried out in Pakistan. Severe forms of clinical depression often translate into suicides. According to a report published in 2014, every 40 seconds a person commits suicide. For every person who commits suicide, there are 20 people who attempt ending their lives. Mental illness at large and major depression is particular pose a public health challenge, which calls public health policy institutes and governments to take appropriate steps. Diagnosis, signs, and symptoms. Major depressive disorder is diagnosed on the basis of a set of 9 symptoms formulated in the Diagnostics and Statistical Manual, DSM-5, and their context. 5 or more of the 9 symptoms, including at least one of depressed mood and loss of interest or pleasure in the same 2-week period, and each of the symptoms represent a change from previous functioning. These symptoms include depressed mood, subjective or observed. Irritability is more common in teenagers. Loss of interest of pleasure, change in weight or appetite, insomnia or hypersomnia, psychomotor agitation, observed, loss of energy or fatigue, feelings of worthlessness or guilt, impaired concentration or indecisiveness, thoughts of death or suicidal ideation and attempt. If there is depression resulting in significant clinical impairment but not meeting the above criteria for major depression, then it is termed as adjustment disorder with depressed mood. This occurs within 3 months following a stressful life event and does not persist for 6 months after the termination of the stressor. If there are depressive symptoms occurring within 2 months of the death of a loved one, then it is considered as normal grief. If symptoms persist beyond 2 months, then a diagnosis of major depression needs to be explored. Severity. Major depression can be mild, moderate, or severe. In mild depression, despite the symptoms, functioning would still be preserved. In moderate depressive illness, the different facets of functioning would be markedly impaired. Whereas in severe major depression disorder, one may experience and act on suicidal thoughts. In very severe forms, one may even experience hallucinations and delusions accompanying the mood symptoms, which is termed as major depression with psychotic features.
NHS.com tells us that depression is a common mental health problem. At least 1 in 10 people will experience depression at some time. In its mildest form, depression does not stop us from leading a normal life. But the most severe depression can be extremely distressing, with thoughts of death and suicide. Since this is such a huge, sensitive topic, we will be extending this week's episode in order to look at the topic of suicide in more depth next week.
Let's take a look at some facts and stats around this topic with Adam and Destiny.
Our World in Data study estimates about 3.4% of the global population has depression. That works out as about 264 million people worldwide. According to the World Population Review, a nation's culture and the availability of mental health treatment services can actually significantly impact its population's mental health. It's interesting that some countries who have recently added mental health screening and treatment services to their healthcare infrastructure have lower depression rates.
Have you ever found that your mental health makes it hard for you to concentrate or be productive? If you have, you're definitely not on your own. The Labour Force survey found that there were 347,000 new cases of work-related stress, depression or anxiety in the year 2019 to 2020, making a total number of 17.9 million working days lost, which equates to an average of about 21.6 days lost per case. Some industries had higher rates of stress, depression and anxiety than others. Human health and social work activities, for example, had 2,350 cases per 100,000 workers, whereas education had 2,170 cases per 100,000 workers. My mum used to be a teacher, so I've seen firsthand just how stressful that job can be. She literally had a nervous breakdown.
Limiting alcohol is in your best interest if you struggle with depression. Alcohol is a depressant and can lead to impaired judgment and reaction time. Many alcoholic beverages can actually be quite sugary, which can also have a way of sabotaging your mood and causing blood sugar levels to elevate and then crash.
I don't know whether you've ever thought about how your views on religion affect your mindset, but it looks like they even have an impact on how you respond to mental health treatment. A parliamentary briefing for the House of Commons looking at mental health services found that those identifying as Jewish or Christian were more likely to recover after treatment than some other religious groups. Patients identifying as Christian saw reliable improvement after treatment 70% of the time. Those identifying as Sikh 68% of the time. Those identifying as Jewish 66%, while those identifying as Muslim saw reliable improvement in 61% of cases. Why do you think faith makes a positive difference?
Have you ever thought about wearable tech helping your mental health? Christina Colmer McHugh, co-founder of Moodbeam, came up with the idea for a silicone wristband, which links to an app and web interface. It has 2 buttons, one yellow and one blue. The idea is that you press the yellow one if you are feeling happy and the blue one if you are feeling sad. The idea came after she discovered that her daughter was struggling at school, and she wanted a way for her child to let her know how she was feeling. As a Christian, I would have loved to have had this when I was struggling in school. Knowing that my family could be praying for me in an instant, I think that would have helped me massively.
So we asked our students if they've ever felt depressed, and if so, what did they do? Let's hear their responses.
Yes, I have felt depressed before. It was just after the time I moved out from my mum. I was obviously really upset because I didn't grow up with my dad. But I had people there with me. I mean, Macy was with me, my sister, my dad was there for me, and I just know at time depression goes. It doesn't stay for long, as long as you keep thinking positively.
In high school, I felt depressed. I didn't really have a form of escape from it, so the only way I could really get some form of enjoyment was to stay up late night on my phone and just watch YouTube videos of my favourite YouTubers, because I knew for a fact that I wasn't going to get bullied on it. So,
for a short period of time, you know, there are all days where everyone feels depressed. That's kind of natural, and then it kind of slowly fades. But no, I've never, thankfully, experienced clinical depression.
I wouldn't say that I had depression because I've never had to go to the doctors about it, and overall, like, it sounds really weird, I feel like I'm bragging, it's not a brag, but overall I've had pretty okay mental health growing up and stuff. I've got a stable family life, stable like living, so I'm not like, I'm okay, do you know what I mean? But obviously I've had moments where I've been low, and again I've just said get over it, and that sounds so bad, and I feel like I should say something deeper and like better, but I just told myself to be like, no Hansky, you're better than this, come on, let's move on. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I feel like that's a really bad answer though. I feel like everyone's gonna be like, oh, not very Gen Z of me, is it?
I have felt depressed in the past. It's when you're upset and you don't want to do anything, it's a very difficult spiral to get out of, because when you think bad about yourself, you know, you think bad about the future, and then you think bad about the future, you think there's no point in trying, and then you think there's no point in trying, so you don't try. And there have been times where I've just sat in my, you know, sadness and done nothing, but after a while I've always seen, you know, some form of light at the end of the tunnel. And you've always got to have hope that that light's always going to be there, and then you think the future's going to be great, and then you're like, I am going to try so I can reach that better future.
I don't think I've actually ever felt depressed. I think that's quite a strong word. but I have felt down a few times, and the best way that I can like change my mood and feel a bit better is to surround myself with my best friend and to just like retail therapy maybe.
NHS.com tells us that everyone feels low or down from time to time. It does not always mean that something is wrong. Feeling low is common after distressing events or major life changes, but sometimes periods of low mood happen for no obvious reason. You may feel tired, lacking confidence, frustrated, angry and worried, but a low mood will often pass after a couple of days or weeks.
Whether it's a low mood or depression, there are some easy things you can try and small changes you can make that will usually help improve your mood.
Number 1, increase helpful activity. Low mood can stop us from doing important or enjoyable activities. Try listing these things and doing some each day. Start with the easier ones, and as you progress, your mood should improve.
Number 2, talk to someone. Trusted friends and family or contacting a helpline can help us when we are struggling.
Number 3, be kind to yourself. Try to break big tasks down into manageable chunks and do not try to do everything at once. Give yourself credit when you complete each bit.
Number 4, challenge unhelpful thoughts. The way we think affects the way we feel. So maybe distract yourself with a good book or movie.
Number 5, get better sleep. Low moods can make us feel tired. Tiredness can also have a bad impact on our mood. I find not eating sugar and drinking caffeine before bed really helps.
Number 6, healthy living. Being active, cutting back on alcohol and making sure we have a healthy, balanced diet can help boost our moods and help our well-being. One of my favorite things to do is going out for a run. It not only helps my fitness, but it helps my mind as well.
Up next with Quote of the Day, it's Lauren.
Christopher Reeve was an American actor. He was best known for the lead role in Superman. He said this: "Once you choose hope, anything is possible." I love this. Sometimes we must choose hope, even when everything within us doesn't feel like we can choose to hold on to hope and overcome the hardship in our life. Do you want to choose to hold on to hope today?
Hope Grows website tells us that to have hope is to want an outcome that makes your life better in some way. It not only can help make a tough present situation more bearable, but also can eventually improve our lives, because envisioning a better future motivates you to take the steps to make it happen.
Hope can be a lifesaver, and many people have found hope through faith. Where do you get your hope from?
Dame Kelly Holmes, the double Olympic gold medalist, has openly spoken about her struggle with self-harm and depression. Let's see what she would tell her #MyYoungerSelf.
Hi, I'm Dame Kelly Holmes from Great Britain, and I'm a double Olympic champion. I think I would have told my younger self about the journey that I was going to embark on after I decided that I wanted to be Olympic champion, having been inspired by Olympic Games when I was 14, and knowing what I know now about how tough the journey is, I wouldn't have been so harsh on myself. Because if you've got a talent, and as long as you have it in your head and your heart, you can achieve whatever you want. The journey is going to be tough. Life is tough. We all go through our hard times. We can all go through some brilliant times. And I think we just have to look at ourselves and look at yourself and think, I can do this. No one that's been successful has ever gone through an easy ride, and that includes myself. I've had depression and I've self-harmed before, and it hasn't defined me. It's actually made me who I am, because it made me realise that I'm tougher than I thought I was. And when I went through bad times, I also was able to pick myself up and achieve my greatest dream and my greatest achievements on the track. So the young girl that I was, I would have said, keep going and just believe in yourself.
Up next is My Story, the part in the programme where we hear someone's personal experience relating to today's topic. Joe really struggled with depression between the age of 17 to 24. He was diagnosed with clinical depression, tried antidepressants, but something happened that changed everything. Let's listen to Joe's story.
Guess who's back? Back again. Started sixth form college. Sixth form college was going really well. I kind of felt like the new kid in town, Mr. Popular. And then bang, a few months in, it literally felt like just sadness came upon me. I remember coming home from college that day, ringing my sister, who was very close to her. I said to my sister, I said, Katie, I don't know what's wrong with me. I feel just so sad. And it just felt like it couldn't shift. Basically, a friend of mine, I had said a joke that wasn't very funny, and he didn't laugh. And that just triggered something in me, and that sadness came upon me. And let me tell you, from the age of 17 to about the age of 23, 24, I massively struggled. I just felt real feelings of insecurity, feeling like I just wasn't good enough, putting massive expectations on my own shoulders, putting pressure on me to kind of, and things were just never ever good enough really. And in my battle, I was very determined to beat this. Actually, I decided I really wanted to pursue musical theatre because I thought being on a stage, you know, I'm going to be exposed, I'm going to need to deal with my issues, and I thought that might help. And actually I ended up getting into the top place for musical theatre in the country, Arts Ed in London, got a full scholarship, and I thought, get in, I thought, you know, this is me set. But actually that wasn't me set. I still massively struggled internally. And actually, really significantly for me, the big turning point in my life was when I started to hear more and more about Jesus and people talking about this relationship with Jesus, which sounded so like I've never heard this in my life. And actually, as I went on this journey of kind of finding out more about this God, actually about 7 months in, I was reading this book by a guy called Nicky Cruz. And this was a guy who was a gangster in New York. And basically his heart was full of hate. And he ended up encountering Jesus and actually coming to that place of actually accepting Jesus into his life and being like, going from a guy full of hate to a guy full of the love of Jesus, knowing that he is loved. And I was reading this book just in a simple place on the train, tears rolling down my eyes, and do you know what I thought? Even though I haven't got a gangster past, you might have kind of guessed that, but I realised I really believe that if Jesus can change this man's life, he can change mine too. What I needed more than anything was to know that I am loved. And actually, I've realised I'm a lot happier as a result, as I've got that, my eyes have come off myself needing to be everything to everyone and realising I am enough. And I totally believe you are enough too. My name is Joe Winchland, and this is my story.
Thanks, Joe, for sharing your story with us. As we said in the beginning, if you have any questions from this session, why don't you talk about it in your groups afterwards? Also, if your teacher or leader would like to extend this session, you can access the questions that accompany this episode by following the link in the description on YouTube.
If you are personally struggling with any of the content, please do think of an adult you can trust, that you can talk to ASAP. Don't wait. There are many great websites and charities that we can signpost you to that can inform and support you moving forward. impossible.uk.com, Young Minds, Koof, The Mix, and of course, Childline.
Don't forget, many of the bands that you see on the message today are releasing new content on their socials every week. Each month, all the Message Trust bands get together for one massive show called Higher Live. The band YouTube channels are on the screen, so why don't you check them out today?
Don't forget to join us again next week, where we'll continue this conversation and look at the topic of suicide. But for now, I'm going to leave you with Rescue Me, which is a song that my band Brightline wrote. So many times we might feel like we're drowning in the middle of the ocean and we need rescuing. Well, let me tell you something. There is someone that can rescue us. Check this out.
Okay.